Hi, welcome back to Vondelpede, and in today's video I want to talk about my experience being an INFP healer. Now, obviously, healers is a word that's sometimes associated with being the INFP personality type as part of the INFP archetype, and I don't necessarily resonate with it too much. I don't think of myself as being able to heal anyone at all. I feel quite useless in general. And I'm the sort of person who, I feel very confused if anyone ever comes to me for advice, kind of flattered, but I feel like I've got no advice to give. I'm a very impractical person. However, sometimes I am able to present myself a bit as a healer because I can speak in a calming way, I think. And some people say that I've got a calming presence, especially on this YouTube channel. And so I'm playing up to that a little bit the lava lamp plays up to that, the mystical lava lamp behind me, and also just the way I'm dressed. Hopefully, it makes me look like a bit of a Jesus figure. But on reflection, I have at times been someone who has the power to heal others, whether I am aware of it or not. One of the first times I remember healing someone it was actually at my 10th birthday. I'm a twin, so it was a joint birthday, but it wasn't a very happy time. My parents had been divorced that year, but there was a family friend we had. Well, there was a family that came to my party when I was 10, and the father in the family, he was a bit of an alcoholic, I think. I don't know, because he turned up at the party drunk in the car with everyone. It was a dress up party because my birthday's near Halloween, so he was dressed up as a werewolf and he was chasing all the kids around, dressed as a werewolf, barking loudly, like he was basically just being a dog. He was on all fours in the backyard. So we've got like 20 kids there, and they were laughing because you got this grown man with a beard smelling of whiskey or whatever, chasing them around, biting them all on the heels. It's quite undignified any time someone does that. But anyway, what happened was this. I had a friend at that time. I don't know what personality type that friend would have been when I was 10. Maybe it was an ESFP or something. That's anyway. I think the man who was a werewolf running around, nipping at the heels of all my friends was probably an ESFP too, but I don't know. But anyway, that friend that I had, he got very excited by this grown man who was degrading himself, drunkenly chasing kids around on all fours. So he actually ran up behind him and kicked him up the arse, like really hard. And the werewolf man, the drunken werewolf, he actually broke character and he flew into a rage and started screaming at everyone and him. And my friend actually ran into my bedroom in the house and was crying. He hid for the rest of my party. So instead of blowing out my own candles and being part of my party, I was more concerned with healing my friend who was crying in my wardrobe, afraid to come out. Because of course, outside of my bedroom, you could actually hear the werewolf drunk man yelling, where is that little shit? It was pretty terrifying actually. But I remember it was like one of those early experiences where I realized I was having a calming effect on my friend. Like I had this instinct to console him, to tell him that things will be okay as long as we hide. Things will be okay. You're not going to get torn to bits by this man. Don't worry about it. That was one of the early experiences, I think, of me being a healing personality type. There's an example for you. I can't really remember being much of a healer to anyone as a teenager. Maybe, I don't know. I guess I developed a bit of a my mum always said that I had a calming presence for her while she was, I don't know. I mean, she dated so many people through my teenage years and had lots of boyfriends, and a lot of the boyfriends obviously don't want to hang out with her and do the things that she wanted to do because she was an ENTP. She always wanted to do lots of things. But I remember being 19 years old and I went, she did this work conference in Brisbane in Australia. So she wanted me to come with her because she said there was a hotel room. Why don't I join her for a week in Brisbane while she goes to government conferences? And then I can just during the day, I can do what I want. She had some friend from who she was working with, some government dude who I guess he saw me as a 19-year-old young boy and he thought, "Ooh, I remember being 19." So he took me aside and he showed me a map of where we were in Brisbane and kept telling me all the different streets to go down if you were after action. He's like, "If you go down this street, bit of action there. You might like that, Pete. Wink, wink. Down that street, some good Chinese places if you want to have some food. Not as much action there. A bit of action down this street, bit of action down that street, not much action down that street. But if it's really action you want, that's the street to go down. Wink, wink. So pretty weird for me as a 19-year-old actually. But then my mum would go to these conferences all the time, and sometimes she didn't come home at night. So I was just watching Seinfeld marathons and eating Cocoa Pops by myself as a 19-year-old boy. I didn't really get involved in any action, as I wouldn't. I was 19. So you're probably wondering, where's this story going? What's this got to do with healing? Well, I'm getting to it. So on the last night, I've been watching TV and eating cereal all night. So juvenile. Anyway, gets to 1 in the morning or something, and I don't expect my mum to come back again because she hadn't been coming back the nights before. But on this occasion, there's a knock on the door, or someone's, yeah, knocking on the door. I thought, why can't my mum make her own way in? But anyway, I'm sort of not that well dressed actually, because I've just been lying around in bed watching TV. But I open up the door, and there's this old man in a suit with grey hair, and he's smelling very much like red wine. And he's got two red wine bottles in his hands, one in each hand, and he says, "Hello, Peter." So for some reason, this old man at my door knows who I am, and he's like, "You and I are going to drink both of these." So I'm a bit confused, but I do remember seeing my mum just around the corner. So she was with this old man. So it wasn't just an old man turning up like some sort of, what's it called? Silver service, in a hotel where they get silver service and a silver-haired man comes to your door in the hotel. Is that a thing? So he comes into my room, and my mum comes nervously in afterwards. And I guess if you've grown up with my mum, I mean, I knew that this wasn't completely an outrageous situation, because this is standard for having my mum as a mum, I guess. He gets on the bed and he's got all these potato chips. Oh, no, that was from my hotel. He's grabbed all these potato chips and he's shoving them. This, again, very well-dressed man. Actually, I find out very quickly that he's a judge from He lives in Tasmania and he's an actual judge. He's a court judge. Hence, he's got this expensive suit on, wonderfully done grey hair, very tall, eloquent man, but he's drunk out of his mind, shoving potato chips in his mouth on my bed, unbuttoning his shirt, pouring red wine, getting excited. He spills red wine all over the sheets in this hotel room, so I feel like that's bad, in the bed that I'm sleeping in. And then weirdly, it's like me and my mum and this old man on the bed. And what's gone on is that my mum's like, some man's obviously trying to go back to her hotel, and instead of saying no, because my mum was a very avoidant person in some ways for an ENTP. I reckon this lines up with other ENTPs' behaviors actually. And basically, what my mum had said to him was, my 19-year-old boy's in the hotel, so you can't come back because there's a 19-year-old boy there. And I think he's been like, oh, more the merrier. He was obviously like very happy to come back to my hotel if I'm there. So pretty strange, and yeah, it's getting pretty weird. Very weird situation to be in because he's sort of making moves. But at any rate, my mum then, out of the blue, I guess to stop what's happening, she says, "What about your wife? What about your wife?" Now, his wife had actually just died. So very, very recently, his wife had passed away. So he just burst into tears, and then there's more red wine being spilt on the bed. But that inner INFP voice inside me, I mean, mainly the INFP inside me was uh, irritated that I wished I could be alone. There was another side of me that felt sorry for the man, who felt like maybe I can console this drunken judge in my room. Now, I can't remember exactly what words I said, but I was studying philosophy at the time, and I remember giving him, I'm sorry, it's a terrible way to tell the story. I don't remember what I said to him, but I said something that helped him cheer up a little bit, this drunken, blubbering man. Maybe I just said something nice, knowing me. I would have just said something like, "I'm sure that she'd be very proud of you," and whatever garbage I said. I just remember him putting his arm around me while crying and saying, treasure your son," he kept saying to my mum. Something like, his wisdom beyond his years. And before long, he was gone, but I felt like I had done my job in a way that maybe my mum as an ENTP might not have been able to console him the same way as her INFP son. So I guess there's some experiences that I've had as an INFP in, I guess, just offering comfort for others. Again, I think many INFPs like myself, we're not maybe the best at practical advice, but we can listen. And I think we just can put ourselves in the other person's shoes. And we often, without knowing it, we sometimes do know the right thing to say by our authenticity, not trying to like just say the standard sort of, oh, there, or, cookie cutter sort of chat GPT responses. I think we can, because we can put ourselves really deeply into the other person's shoes, sometimes we can offer sort of a comfort that way. I don't know. So I know there's a bit of a patheticness sometimes to just getting people to feel like it's okay to be you and to try and offer encouragement instead of firm. I mean, I think some people get very frustrated. That's why C.S. Joseph on YouTube was so popular. He's not popular now. But when he was, it was like, on all these personality type channels for INFPs, you'd always be told how we're the healers and we're mystical or whatever. We've got great empathy. And then, all the personality types would, on the 16 personality type website, it's very fluffy, positive stuff. And at least he was telling everyone they're terrible and talking about all the faults. And some people are much more refreshed by that. Tell us something real, criticize, lay in to each personality type. And there's something to be said for that. But there's also something to be said for not criticizing everyone and actually offering some comfort can be okay. I hope you've got something out of this video, and I'll see you next time.
C.S. Joseph claims INFPs in disguise, with hearts so pure and gentle eyes, wear masks of kindness, cloak of care, but underneath a hunger they bear. Beneath their tender, quiet souls, a will to lead, achieve their goals. Ambition runs deep, a hidden quest for power they believe is best. He says they crave the throne. INFPs want power to rule alone. With authority and control in hand, they weave their dreams, they take a stance.